I've come today to the village of Lympstone, which stands on the estuary of the River Exe. At the moment the tide is right out, but when it comes in the water will come right up to where I'm standing. Right on the edge of the estuary beach is this large tower, and the plaque tells us it was erected in 1885. W.H. Peters of Harefield, in memory of his wife Mary Jane, to commemorate her kindness and sympathy for the poor of Lympstone. I've come inland a little way through the village and I've come to the parish church. Directly outside the church is the war memorial. Amazingly, this carries the name of 27 men who died for the First World War. At the top there are two members of the Bampsey family, Chown, Covington. And then I'll pan across to the right here. There are two to the Pannell family. And we go right down to Vinicombe, Westlake, White and Willsman. And on the front I stand to the memory of the men of Lympstone who gave their lives in the Great War, 1418. And just beneath that is an additional stone for those who gave their life in the Second War. Difficult to read, that one. It looks as though there's 4 names on there: Cornish, Palfrey, Norton and Sofa. I may not have those quite right. Although a church has stood on this spot for many hundreds of years, this one is basically a Victorian building. It's open today, so we'll start by having a look inside. Well, the church is a lot larger than you would expect, particularly for a small village like Lympstone. There are some very old stones on the floor, but they're so worn you can't make out the inscriptions. There are inscriptions high on the wall, quite impossible to read from ground level, although the camera may do a little better. I can see the surname on the lower two is Wright. Now this one is readable. William Henry Peters of Harefield in his parish, 1896, age 62, and Mary Jane, wife of the above. And then we've got their daughter and their younger son. Again, quite impossible for me to read from the ground here, the top one at least. The lower one has the name of Reverend William James. There is a stone on the floor here which is not badly worn, and it says at the top, "Here lieth the body of Henry Drake," and down the right hand side, "of this parish, Gent, son of John Drake of Ivy Bridge," some distance away, 30 miles probably, who died on the 4th day of May 1717 in his 46th year of his age. And clearly a landed noble family with the coat of arms. Another one high on the wall here, I can just get the name, the Reverend Fred J. Bergman. Looks like 1853 at the bottom there, but again you'd probably see it clearer than I can. And 2 more here. I can't make out the top one at all, but the lower one is to Sir George Bergman, Knight, 1838, age 67, and his widow Susan Rose. And this one high above the main entrance, quite impossible to read from the ground. Inside the porch we have these two plaques about the charities that provided money for this church or for things connected with the church. The name on this one is Harriet Feasley Wyatt, 1844, gave £1,000 annually applied to the instruction of poor girls on the principles of the Church of England and elementary secular subjects. And then beneath that we got Sophia Simmons and again Mary Williams. And if I move across to this plaque, I can see Wakelin Welsh gave £200 for the purchase of blankets each Christmas as loans to poor cottagers and for the instruction of poor children in Sunday school. John Denning gave for the Sunday school. Francis Spicer, the benefit of such poor people who are not in receipt of parochial relief. And the bottom one here, Charlotte Thorne Long, £50, the income from which is to be extended annually in coals for the benefit of poor widows and widowers. Quite a collection of charitable donations given in this parish to look after the less fortunate. Go back to the first one I showed you. Well, back outside, I'm afraid we've got a man trimming the grass nearby, if you can hear engine noises in the background. Pleasant little graveyard, this part. The stones are not easy to read. I'll show you this one here. Abraham Hornwell Stogden, MA, born in the Parish 1815 and died in Exeter 1895. And in the front of the church we've got a war grave to Private E.H. Westlake, Royal Army Medical Corps, 1919, aged 37. This one with the cross is John D. Chalice, Private 1st Battalion, Devonshire Regiment. He died in 1909, aged 19 years. This one has a list of family names. They won't all be buried at this spot here, but we start with James Shears, and if you see on the left it will give his dates, but rather faded. But on the right it tells us he was 10 years. Then the one beneath that is Elizabeth Shilson Shears, and it looks as though she was 2 years and some months. And then Martha Pierce Shears, James Shears, Christopher Shears, Jane Hearn Shears, also Jane, wife of Richard Pierce Shears. When you look down the right hand side, they're all young. 15 years, 12 years, 15 years, 2 months, 11 months, 6 years, something years, and so forth. It's quite a family history here, and he seems to list a lot of youngsters who died in the family. And one close by, this is to John Venman. He died aged 77 and his wife died aged 89, but then it lists their children beneath. Sarah was 3 years, John 14 years, Sarah Alice 21 years, Edwin 71, and at the bottom there we've got Richard. It looks like 33 years. So you've got a whole family details in one stone. Very clear inscription on this one. It's obviously been relettered recently. Mary Haynes, the wife of Thomas Upcott, 1861, aged 84. And Thomas Upcott, 1865, aged 85. And at the bottom you've got their daughter. Now, as we make our way around the side of the church, You can see that the graveyard stretches away and up the hill. A lot of stones to see. And then a little further round, you can see the graveyard stretching even further. Well, I'm looking down the churchyard from the top. If you can hear voices, then on my right hand side is a children's junior school. And right at the top here you'll notice they've kept the grass long and allowed it to go into a nature reserve. I think they surely should have done it for a larger area in this graveyard. It would reduce the work and also be better for the wildlife. At the top is a military grave. Dennis Leslie Hope, I think, difficult to read that, Sergeant, 42nd Commando Royal Marines, 1959, aged 29. Now, adjoining Lympstone village is the Lympstone Commando Centre, so it may well be that that was where he was based. At the bottom it says, in memory of my beloved husband, Dennis Leslie Hopper, that's what we should have got from the top. Thy will be done. Dennis Leslie Hopper. This one with the stone cross. The inscription on the bottom reads, in ever loving memory of Isaac Quintance, accidentally killed, 1919, age 66. As I work my way round the graveyard, I see three more war graves. William James White, Petty Officer First Class, HMS Alberton, 1921, aged 48. And then almost directly behind is this one to Private C.S. Norton, Royal Fusiliers, 1920, aged 25. And a little further back near the school gates I noted one. Here we are. This is Private C.A. Parnell, Royal Marine Light Infantry, 1915. It doesn't give us the age for that gentleman. That's my visit to the village of Lympstone. I'm going to come to a close on that one now. Hope you enjoyed it. Till the next time.